Okay, it didn't. Okay, now it says you are live. It's okay. Uh, we are allowed to make some newbie mistakes. Is it live now?
There's someone waiting, one waiting.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, we are live.
Yeah, we're live. Great.
Official.
Yeah,
First YouTube
okay.
live streaming, Gaurav, by the way.
Okay. Yeah, great. So,
So,
start
so,
with
so two things I'll start with actually because
great. Go
as
for it.
as as 90s kids we must talk about Sharjah first.
Listen, you're the 90s kid. I'm not the 90s kid. Speak for yourself. I mean, it's like this
Yeah,
whole
you were
scale.
born what 2000 what two?
Yeah, yeah, about that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Total
so
teenager. Yeah,
just turned 18. Yeah. So
yeah,
so
yeah,
two things, right? I mean, when I
yeah.
started watching, I saw all those sixes going to the mid wicket boundary, and I got reminded of all those sixes we saw all those years, right?
It's just
Uh,
tuck and gone.
Yeah,
Tuck,
yeah,
gone.
and those stands, right? They look so familiar. When the ball lands there, it brings back so many memories.
Yeah.
I remembered somehow. I remembered Azruddin hitting Ataur Rahman for all those sixes. I mean, some just random memories, not just the Desert Storm memory that everyone talks about. And the other 90s nostalgia was Dhoni getting stuck when you need quick runs, and that reminded me of Nayan Mongia.
Oh yeah, that's what you shared. So it still seems quite messed up, even though it's after so long that we're at Sharjah. It has that air of a bit of disquiet because I guess it is those familiar stands and
Yeah,
as I guess someone I think Gaurav Kalra mentioned there's only one six which we remember, which was a terrible thing to say. I mean, you're watching a game and you've disassociated yourself completely. I guess by now from that six, and he brought it up earlier. But uh, what really I think the game just dragged. I mean, we saw what was going to happen. You know what the result was.
yeah,
Maybe about 10 overs by the 11th over we knew. 10th, 11th over I guess pretty much knew. Maybe even before that really.
yeah.
I think what got everyone's goat was why isn't Dhoni in? Should he be
Yeah.
in?
So,
And
so, so there's a related question, and I'll put that to you. Sri Vidya is asking why the fuck are these commentators not calling out MST and his atrocious approach to chases these days?
yeah,
What is wrong with the commentators?
because they're commentators, right? And they're being paid for it by BCCI.
Yeah,
And why would they? If you yourself were in that job, you wouldn't, right?
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
certain protocol you follow. Now, even though we had a lot of fun on Twitter and we were all taking the piss, and the Dhoni jokes just happen.
yeah,
I think today I saw a lot of friends who are hardcore CSK fans, like Crownish, and he was trying to I guess make up, and he said he's not coming in because. Kedar is just easing his hamstring in, which I thought was quite funny. It's like I guess it is quite exasperating, really,
yeah,
because you say okay, and I was very keen to watch the post match, and I'm glad I saw that because Dhoni being the losing captain, he came in straight away,
yeah.
and they did ask him, not in so many words because there's a lot of gift wrapping and sweetness and God, can we ask you
Uh,
this?
somebody shared a picture of Yashasvi Jaiswal doing this to
Yeah,
Dhoni. Did you
yeah,
see that? Yeah,
it was very nice. Yeah,
yeah,
I mean
yeah.
that really is it, and all the commentators are like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, I
They
don't mind a young cricketer doing that, but commentators, yeah, I mean,
but
you
yeah,
can excuse them if they don't do that, but they do.
but this is the IPL,
Yeah,
and I mean they're doing it to every Dhoni memory there is. There are no questions asked, so get used to that. Now, what I'm glad because I mean I wasn't even curious or why didn't he come early because I did know. Didn't you know that he wouldn't come
yeah,
early?
yeah, yeah.
I,
We
I
knew.
didn't give it too much
Yeah,
thought, but I said यार 18वें ओवर में आ जाएगा 19 ओवर
yeah.
ठीक है यार यार क्या है आई मीन क्या ठेका लिए हुए हैं? साले वो कहता ही है यार हम बुड्ढे हो गए ये हो गए हैं यार तुम क्या सुनना चाहते हो यार
Yeah.
जनता इज सो एजिटेटेड कि यार नहीं आया यार तुमको राखी बांधने आएगा तुम्हारा भाई है साला आई मीन व्हाट इज दिस बहन है भाई इट्स लाइक इतने
Yeah,
रिश्ते बना दिए हैं धोनी के साथ अरे ठीक है यार ease it. So
yeah,
what I loved was when he finally came out, and spoke, and they asked him about it, and he said, "I'm playing after a long time,"
yeah,
and that pretty much said it. He's playing after ages, man. they've spent 6 months saying he's coming back, coming back. He didn't. He was chilling, and then he retired,
Yeah.
and fine. I mean, he hasn't played all this while.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, most cricketers, Indian cricketers, are saying they've been in a, maybe I guess 6-7 months where they haven't played, or even, I mean, pretty much
Yeah.
how they call it is we haven't lifted a bat here, which is pretty severe. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, so that's the just to pose the opposite point of view that almost everybody is a Shahid Afridi in IPL, that in the sense that they are all coming off a mini retirement, right?
yeah,
So it's
exactly.
not just Dhoni. Everyone is coming back after a
He's
long time.
coming out of a mega retirement.
Yeah, but that's fine. I mean, एक वो होता है ना, एक कट ऑफ होता है यार. हमें 6 महीने तक नहीं खेला और उसके बाद चाहे आप 6 साल तक नहीं खेलो. Once you
फिर
lose
भी आ
that touch.
जाता, because Shastri still would be saying that Dhoni is still Dhoni, and that's what they kept saying. So what
Yeah.
was questionable was, I guess, the leeway they gave him for those 6 months when India was playing, and they said he'll come back for the World T20 depending on his his IPL form, and it
Yeah.
always was Dhoni will decide if he wants to choose. So he could have walked in had there been a World T20. And even if he'd had an indifferent IPL, he would have walked into that squad.
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
It was up to him. And that is part of the travesty that Indian cricket is with their selections.
Yeah.
So Dhoni will decide when he picks himself and selects, which is fine. That is the way it goes. So everyone, I guess, who is in denial of that can continue to be. But I guess what is funny is he finally, again, which was a complete mistake where he hit those sixes in the last over, right? Where everyone is saying, "अरे यार पहले करता था यार हम जीत जाते." They'd be doing the calculations and all.
Yeah.
Okay, यहाँ तो we would have.
नहीं वो करता है यार. अब you will say कि you don't remember this game and you will wonder how I recall all these finishes, but 2018 में there was a game against Punjab जहाँ पे Mohit Sharma bowled some good Yorkers in the final over to him, and on the basis of that Dhoni actually picked Mohit Sharma in 2019. So that was the game where I think they lost by 4 runs or something. I was just checking out the scorecard.
Who lost? Now you gotta.
CSK lost. CSK lost. But the thing is, they lost just by 4 runs, and when they needed 10 runs of one ball, Dhoni hit a 6. So तो वो 4 रन से हारे, but ठीक है यार, जब 10 runs 1 ball आ ही गया था, तो you lost it, but margin थोड़ा छोटा कर देता है धोनी अक्सर इस तरह के finishes में. Like I said, right? I mean, if you read it, that Dhoni's new definition of finisher is probably that a cricketer who comes into bat after the game is finished, basically.
Yeah, it's and that is again a great mistake, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone says कि यार इतना कर दिया है and all that, but I want to go to Mohit because we saw him playing the other day, and he's got this aura of a really cool ghazal singer now. No, it's like it's just I guess everyone's coming after this long break.
Just because you have a glass, don't start thinking of महफिलें.
Yeah, यार कबाब नहीं है ना, imagine it was like and more but so I think a bit of that the Dhoni question will continue, and that will I think create a lot of masti and kida also throughout the tournament, because he'll keep doing this. I think maybe in the penultimate league game he'll maybe promote himself.
Yeah.
Something they could have things, and it is I think it's a really smart one. He says I haven't played in a long time. I mean, you're talking about a year, and finally he hit it. And I think we spoke earlier that in Sharjah, in fact, I think we both talked about it, that I did think maybe he'll come earlier because chota ground hai and all that. And yeah, thodi patai karega, but obviously even here it's
I mean, so I was hoping, and I mean, we have been hoping about this for a few years now. But since Raina is not there, maybe Dhoni would come up in a few games. But hota nahi hai. There are 2 questions on CSK. One is my question, and one is somebody asked.
Okay.
Shalin Shah. When Raidu is fit, who does he replace, Vijay or Rituraj? I would say Vijay.
Vijay, I think because he's an opener, he will get a longer rope, and we've seen CSK do that.
Yeah, but you don't need an opener, right? I mean, normally you would want Faf and Watson to open and Ruturaj to come in after that.
I think what they've seen today is with Faf, he can really go deep. So they might have him as a floater.
Yeah.
Watson will definitely open. I think they will persevere because that's again a Dhoni Fleming thing. They will give Vijay a little more because I still do, and I said that in maybe an earlier chat we had that I did expect that Vijay will deliver runs in this tournament. He's again very rusty,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's looking.
Yeah.
He got some boundaries in. Okay, 21 of 21. Uh, See, where I guess he'll get smart is when he starts targeting spinners, and he could become extremely lethal because this guy plays spin
Yeah.
better than a lot of the oldies.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that this is all muscle memory which will come back,
Yeah.
and so Vijay has been out of the Indian team for a long time. I do not know whether he did he take part in the T20 the Desi tournament.
No. I didn't follow that, so
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
mean,
sure. But he's not.
even if you
in,
did, no one would have followed.
Yeah.
Ki Vijay kya kar raha hai wahan?
Yeah.
So it's almost like, I mean, we've forgotten about Vijay, but we've forgotten about what he can do. I think this guy will, you have certain guys who bite certain teams. I think he will bite Delhi in their encounter. It just happened in the past. What he did with Sunny Singh and Sehwag and all these guys are there for a certain purpose. You will get under the skin of certain teams. Vijay will deliver runs, and I'm sure before he really goes bankrupt, he will get maybe 4 or 5 games minimum.
Yeah, I differ on that. Although I don't think Vijay will make runs,
I think
and I don't think he'll get picked also once Raidu is picked.
Part of me also differs with myself. That is
no, because Rituraj is somebody they really earmarked for this season. He was one of those folks who got COVID positive. In fact, I was reading he just tested. He had 2 negative tests. Almost yesterday. So the way actually he got out with that lazy skip down the track, I don't know if he's fully fit also. I mean it's possible he's not fully fit. But even Srini named Ruturaj when he was talking about Raina not playing. So he actually named him and said somebody like Gaikwad will take this opportunity. So Srini uncle ki backing hai to fir or the second question I had, and I was wondering, see when Dhoni's bowlers start going for runs in the last 2 seasons, Imran Tahir was his go-to bowler in the middle overs. Like when he needed to really buy a wicket, he would trust Imran Tahir. Now I see that there is absolutely nobody he can trust, right? And I think he needs to find a way to get Imran Tahir back in the team. I know it is difficult because he doesn't even have a gun bowler, a fast bowler to replace Nagidi, even though he did bad in 2 consecutive games, and Sam Curran has to play because he plays that all-rounder role, and Watson and Faf have to play, but I don't know whom he drops, but he needs at least one, because every team, even SRH has a weak bowling lineup, but they at least have a Rashid Khan. A captain needs one bowler at least, and Dhoni seems to have nobody right now. Nobody he can trust to buy him a wicket.
I would be very tempted to go with Tahir also, no matter what. I mean, Faf and Watson are pretty much going to be stuck in and mainstays, but Tahir has the smarts here, and he gets wickets. I think he's another guy who maybe his real value has come together with CSK, because he's another guy who Delhi didn't really cash in on ever, and he's spent a long time with Delhi. I remember
Delhi could not cash in on AB de Villiers and David Warner. So
yeah, exactly. So what is Tahir, man? I mean, Tahir ko mujhe yaad hai uska. He had a kid who was he and his wife, they had a child, and that's the last time. I mean, I did a cartoon on them that Kevin Peterson, who was the guy who's saying yaar tu jaldi aaja wapis, and the whole deal with Tahir is I think they would be waiting on him to get him in a little later as the wickets get slower and slower. So these are all, see, the deal with CSK is they are playing the whole tournament, unlike a lot of teams which are saying, "Arey, ye game jeetna, they are playing maybe the last 4-5 games. They've already played them out. These are the matchups that we're going to have, and that is something which very few teams do. That who are the guys we want fit when we go into the playoffs. So I would think Tahir is there, and especially if you look at Dubai and Abu Dhabi, I wouldn't want to waste Tahir in Sharjah at least. Yeah, yeah, and another very interesting thing which I think was pointed out earlier were the lengths that CSK spinners bowled, which were way too full, and Samson walloped them, and he just took them. Yeah, it was like tennis ball की पिटाई हो रही थी.
Yeah, stand and deliver था, कुछ करना नहीं था actually.
Half volley पे low maro, and that's what Samson was doing. He was, yeah, it was amazing because he was getting everything on the half volley.
Yeah.
Now till the time when Faf really started firing, you saw that Rajasthan, their spinners had pulled the length back, man. And then you come, you want to get me, come. And no one's doing that. Like we spoke earlier, everyone's very reluctant to move out of the crease.
Yeah.
या तो stump हो जाते हैं, या निकलते हैं. I mean, बहके हुए, they just, it was.
Yeah. So Butler comes in. Who goes out in Rajasthan Royals? Sam Curran?
No, Sam Curran would stay.
Oh, sorry, Tom Curran. Sorry, not दोनों भाई Curran अर्जुन ने
पता नहीं, पता भी नहीं लगता यार. इतनी रात हो गई है कि Sam Curran.
Yeah, Butler. Yeah, it's tricky actually. Yeah.
No, what I was coming to was throughout commentary they've been talking about Sam and Tom's father today. It's interesting, I think because a lot of people in commentary are contemporaries of Kevin Curran.
Yeah.
So, it keeps coming up. They talk about, I guess, the story of when they lost their father and they moved to, England and the entire, I guess.
Yeah. I think, on that question, I think Miller has to go out and Butler has to come in for David Miller.
Yeah, but Miller, I think, is comic value now, really. I mean, which he has been for a long time, really.
Yeah.
I mean, but what we saw, what happened with Delhi, what we thought was their comic value guy who came off. So I have hope even for Miller because today's run out was, it was pathetic, right? I mean, it's like he was really swimming on that ground, na, ki main pahunch jaun. Let me just, scrape my way through Miller somehow seems like, I guess, one of the fallouts, except for a few games when, when SMG used to love saying if it's in the arc, it's out of the park.
Not SMG actually. That's something that David Miller himself made popular. I think his father or somebody made that comment. Yeah. So if it's in the arc, if it's in the V, it's in whatever. Yeah. If it's in the arc, it's out of the park.
You know what? SMG twisted that even further. He would say, I think the उल्टा कर देता था.
He would say ढूंढो रे साजना मोरे कान का बाला. That's what I remember SMG saying.
Because I remember him saying like if it's in the park, it's out of the arc also. So it's cool, because I like at times the kind of haywire stuff that happens also in the comm box.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean,
these guys
I miss Danny Morrison actually.
They have to get him in because this is supposed to be wacko, right? And and now the fact that they're doing these 3 venues, and I guess they've got a much smaller group of commentators. So I guess they're just shuffling between these 3
social
cities.
distance भी करना है.
वो भी
commentators को भी करना है social distance.
That too,
Yeah. So what about Samson today? Actually, so every time he makes runs, I mean, I don't think there is another Indian batsman that times the ball so sweetly. Especially when he's hitting those sixes. All timing, always all timing. I would like to see him on Sharjah. He did well. The other day we were talking about people who time the ball like Mayank and all. They are hitting more sixes than those power hitters in Abu Dhabi or Dubai where the boundaries are slightly bigger. I would like to see him in one of those games. Maybe he self-destructs sometime, needs to be seen. But I mean, very few people are easier on the eye than Samson. Hopefully he's
I agree.
Hopefully this is one season where he scores those 500 runs or 600 runs something.
Again, the problem with Samson is he plays a lot in the air. And
yes.
he plays in the air very early. So he it could be almost it's like Yusuf Pathan. You come in, you could be playing in the air, maybe the third ball you face, you want to hit a
Yeah.
six. In Sharjah, even though I think some of those sixes were big ones, uh, and as Dhoni did say, the first 4 overs the spinners bowled were poor. They didn't alter their lengths. The lengths were very full, and this
Yeah.
guy killed them. Uh, with Samson, what we've noticed in previous tournaments and when he's played for India as well, is that he continues to play in the air very early.
Yeah.
Now it's uncanny that he is in the same team as Uthappa. Uthappa is someone who's done this throughout his career, played in the air and destructed,
Yeah. Yeah.
and playing very early. And he did that today. Of course, he didn't get any impetus behind that shot, any hold out.
Yeah.
But Uthappa has, I think, killed his career by not being able to adapt, by taking those singles. Because see, again, a lot of timing. Uthappa has, I mean, some of his, I guess, best innings. And we're talking
Yeah.
about a guy who was part of, I think, the 2007 plot of the World T20 that
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
won.
He was. He was. Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking about someone who's
Yeah,
been
I
there.
have seen him since the under 19 levels. He
Yeah.
played in early 2000s also, I think, in one of those games where they were trying a few
I
youngsters.
I
He used to
expect you.
open and
I expect you to have seen him जब वो बच्चा था
नहीं
तो
नहीं नहीं सच्ची में actually
No,
I
because
mean
it's
so
amazing,
one thing
yeah.
that struck me
Yeah.
about Robin Uthappa when I saw him for the first time was how straight his bat was when
It's
he used to
beautiful.
play the straight drive. I mean
Exactly,
somebody
yeah.
if he has somebody has the
Yeah.
footage and I'll ping
Yeah.
some of my
So
friends
that-
who are
yeah, that
archivers.
means it.
He
Yeah.
had one of the straightest bats and he used to play a lot of straight drives. I mean not cover drives or extra cover drives,
Yeah.
proper straight drives. He used to play a lot of those straight drives. But
again,
then
it's
he
a lot in the V also.
Yeah.
If you look at it, all his lofted shots
Yeah.
are in between long on and long off.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah, he does,
It's,
he
it's
does.
just beautiful to watch. It's
yeah.
timing, but again, it's too early, man. So you're not getting that much impetus. behind.
Couple of seasons he did well in T20. I remember there was this huge push to get him into the T20 side
Yeah,
because he was
yeah.
doing well. He was keeping wickets. That was also probably giving him confidence that
Yeah, yeah.
his place is secured. So,
Yeah.
but he sort of had that Yusuf Pathan sort of one or two good seasons and then he never really stayed consistent.
Very similar Indian cricketer who plays in the V. I was thinking of KL Rahul, but KL Rahul's difference is he plays a lot of stuff square. He's brutal square.
Yeah.
I think Uthappa depends very heavily on the V. Like
Yeah.
I think a lot of Indian cricketers, it's nice, but it leaves that the cut goes out. There are a lot of shots that aren't there, man.
Yeah, KL Rahul, I mean, I remember again somebody posted a clip of KL Rahul hitting. I mean, so they fans, they create videos of a player hitting in the entire 360-degree arc.
Yeah,
so he
yeah.
does those ramp shots. So one shot that KL Rahul really plays well is that uppercut, right? His square cuts always, very often you see, even on big grounds, his square cuts go for sixes.
Yeah.
So KL Rahul has more range, and especially for people like, KL Rahul and Uthappa who are not out and out power hitters like Russell, you need to hit the ball in different areas. They say that about
exactly.
Kedar Jadhav as well, right? He hits the ball in unusual areas where it's difficult to set a field for them.
Totally.
So you need that. Anyhow.
Yeah, that's I think something which I guess Uthappa has. It's good that he's got a IPL franchise still, and I think they are finding value by saying, okay, we're going to play you in the middle.
Yeah.
Where if there is a crunch situation, you should be smart enough in a tight game to, hold your horses, change your game, and start taking singles. Like say if you're in a match where you need maybe 20 of 2 overs and you're 7 wickets down.
Yeah.
And Uthappa is there. So by then you should be able to soak in all the pressure. And I think it will come because Rajasthan, it looks so good because you've had, this crazy knock from Samson. You've got Smith who's come off. But I think that last over, because before the game, if he had a mid-innings thing, and even before I would have pegged CSK to win this match.
Yeah.
So I expected them while the game was going on. I remember I predicted on Twitter and this was after Samson got out. And I'd like to say that because we, like to talk about things we get right.
Yeah.
I thought Rajasthan would score less than 200 after Samson got out. And this was just, I think, when this guy got run out. He was reviewed. but I knew there was, you get a sense that after an innings of, I guess, that kind of marvel, you will have a collapse. And it
Yeah.
happened. But that last over killed them, yeah. I mean, that last over just took it, a bridge too far, it pretty much became.
Yeah. So I picked Rajasthan to win this match before the game
Okay.
started,
Yeah, yeah,
and I don't. So
yeah.
I don't know if I can show this, but no, I cannot show this.
No,
Never
you
mind.
can't. You can't.
So
It's,
I just ordered coffees and sandwich in the evening on Zomato, and
it's
and
coming now.
there's this no there's this thing on Zomato called Zomato Premier League. By the way, they haven't sponsored this stream, but anyhow, if they want, they can still do
Yeah.
that. And they
And
ask how many fours will be hit in this game and how many who will win the game. So I predicted Rajasthan, and they give a range for the number of fours. When I saw the game starting, I thought कि four वाला तो पक्का सही नहीं होने वाला है because I did not predict so many fours. But इस game में six ज़्यादा थे, four कम थे. So मेरे दोनों prediction ठीक हो गए actually. So I got my coffee and sandwich for free.
also they
Hundred
sent it.
percent cashback, yeah.
Okay, I thought this was one of those cases where you're still waiting for the sandwiches and yeah, coffee, and they haven't
नहीं
come
यार,
yet.
मतलब जोमेटो ने तो जिंदा रखा है. अगर ऐसा होगा भी तो चलता है यार,
Good, yeah.
मतलब लॉकडाउन में.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
good day for me then. You know.
yeah. You've got a lot of calls, right?
Yeah, a win for cricket and
Yeah. No,
100% cashback.
I guess the CSK games will always get us in because of seeing what Dhoni will do, and I think that's where
Yeah,
the viewership will spike and the conversations will go up,
yeah, yeah.
and people's ungal and kira will go up. All that. Twitter was a bit of a mad fest.
Yeah. So I tweeted this actually कि जब धोनी को जोक्स 2-3 स्टैंडर्ड बना दिए थे, उसके बाद मैं I tweeted this कि अब धोनी ने पेल दिया तो
I
मस्त
saw
गाली
that,
पड़ेगी.
yeah. Yeah, but now you say नहीं होगा इस मैच में, but he still.
Who knows actually. I was hoping कि वो 18th ओवर में जाता actually टॉम करन को, but I don't know. मतलब ठीक है, you say that you are playing after a long time, but ऐसा क्या हो गया वो 20th ओवर में, वो कौन सा स्विच. what Dhoni sometimes remind me of. So I used to play tennis in my college, right? And कितना भी प्रैक्टिस करो, I did not have a good backhand.
Okay.
So लेकिन
So
जैसे ही अगर
that's like me in table tennis.
Yeah.
And it took a while, but yeah. to
So
figure
so
that
I
out.
did not have a. So मैं वो one handed backhand try करता था, two handed करता था, कभी कभी chop करता था, chop
I
नहीं
would
जो
go.
भी slice
I go
slice
like this.
करता था.
Yeah,
हाँ.
yeah.
तो बट लेकिन जैसे ही अगर कोई बाहर मार देता था, मतलब इफ इट इज तो यू कोई प्रेशर नहीं रहता, बॉल बाहर पड़ गई है तो यू जस्ट गो राइट, एंड व्हेन यू जस्ट गो तो बॉल अंदर जाती थी.
Yeah.
So as soon as you know कि इस point पे there is something riding on this point, then you hit a fall shot, कुछ grip खराब हो जाएगी, and that is what happens right in these things. जब game over हो गया तो obviously
I almost thought of Zahir Khan, when he would go bonkers at times. And so when tailenders say,
yeah.
We've lost it and suddenly we'll just smash it. So there's a bit of that, and but with him, it's a bit of a mistake also. It really is. 3 sixes and
एक बार हेनरी ओलोंगा को शायद 3 या 4 छक्के मारे थे, रिमेंबर जहीर खान.
yeah. So we've seen Zahir and all do that, and yeah, but I guess the next debate will be, is Dhoni a tailender like Zahir Khan or something now?
Yeah, hashtag इसके लिए अगली बार से we should encourage people to use hashtag. By the way, there is a question on this chat. How can the star batsman of CSK come in at 7 in a chase of 200? I would recommend you to play back the stream. We talked about that in the beginning. We spent half the stream discussing that.
Yeah. But we can do that because he's not just the star batsman of CSK, but because he's the star everything of CSK.
The star everything.
Yeah. So he could have come after the match also. It still would be okay. Abhi sab hotel chale jaye. Dhoni could have walked in now and hit a few balls, and they could have done a really cool commercial shoot there.
So anything Dhoni does, basically, it will go into the news, right? अभी मैं देख रहा था वो he did an Oppo का ad basically. So उस पे अच्छा खासा outrage चल रहा है. Obviously, I do not want to enter that discussion.
So you've talked Zomato and you've talked Oppo, so which means you're like
आ रहा है पैसा आ रहा है, काफी आ रहा है. Yeah, अगली बार I'll send you the drinks.
Yeah.
इतना पैसा आ रहा है, कुछ तो करना होगा.
Man, The stream is just going haywire. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we
Okay.
should close
Yeah.
this then.
Yeah, we should close before another question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool,
Cheers.
man. See you. See you.
Okay. See you, man. Okay.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for joining. Whoever
Yeah.
did. I
Yeah.
have 7 concurrent viewers now, so we are
Great.
peaking.
Excellent. So, yeah, good. We're done then for
Yeah.
tonight. Yeah.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Thanks. Good night. Bye.